The People's Pundit. I'm going to go. See, this guy's kind of new to the game, guys. He doesn't have a huge amount of followers. He's just reached over 100,000 on Twitter. He's often showed on Steve Bannon's War Room. He was basically spot on in terms of this election, and he's actually openly saying that he believes that there's been fraud in this election. Um, I'm actually going to put him up here, and this is just where I think he's going. I think this guy has a very, very bright future. You can check him out. His name's People's Pundit. He often teams up with Barnes Law, who I will be showing later in this video. I think he's somewhere on here. Yeah, right here. If you are interested into looking inside the numbers, his podcast is called Inside the Numbers. If you're interested in seeing exactly what transpired in this latest election in terms of why people voted the way they did, what areas are voting in a certain direction and why, statistical analysis on voters and voter rolls, this guy is the guy to go to. His numbers are spot on. While the mainstream media was going out there saying Biden plus 6, Biden plus 12, Biden plus 18, or whatever, these crazy polls that are just complete and total propaganda at this point. This guy, even though he is right leaning, he was very, very honest with his statistical analysis, and he has called basically every single state to the T. So I'm pretty sure that's why he does believe that there are some irregularities in terms of what's going on in terms of this election. So check them out, People's Pundit. Paul Joseph Watson, guys. Ooh, imagine my shock. Paul Joseph Watson is, I mean, he's got to be legendary champion, guys. He has to be up there. I mean, he could. Is he above Jordan Peterson? I mean, in terms of relevancy today, I mean, his videos get throttled, and yet for some reason he is still able to garner millions of views. I'm surprised he's still on YouTube. He works for InfoWars. He does Summit.News. His videos are amazing. It is a way of pointing out hypocrisy in such an entertaining and such just beautiful meme-like fashion. He's spectacular. The way he is able to very purposely and like a razor cut through the leftist hive mind is bar none the greatest amount of copious energy to the conservative movement. And he will call out people on the left. He will call out people on the right. He does not care. He is contrarian to the T. He's been fighting about what's going on in terms of this pandemic. He's been pointing out the absolute failures of Boris Johnson in the UK, a conservative, the conservative MP. I mean, you got to give it to Paul Joseph Watson. The guy is just a true monster. Razor Fist. People aren't going to like me for this, but I'm going to put him on unpolished actor. And the only reason why I'm not putting him on solid participant is because his channel is all over the place. He'll do a video about politics, and then he'll do a video about gaming, and then he'll do a video about something random, and it's just there's no clear narrative. And this guy's rants, particularly his latest rant on the election, is one of the best rants I have ever heard about what has gone on and ultimately undermine this republic in terms of President Donald Trump and Joe Biden. He did an amazing video. And the only reason why he is on unpolished actor and not solid participant is because he's just all over the place in terms of his content. You go there, you're like, hey, you know what? I want to hear a political rant. And there's a gamer stuff. Or, oh, I want to go watch gamer stuff. And then there's politics. I mean, it's all over the place. And that's the only reason why I'm putting on unpolished actor. If he had a very sound channel in terms of that, he could be all the way up on the low tier end of dominant competitor because his rants are freaking epic. Epic. Red Elephants. Solid participant, guys. this guy, very similar to Nick Fuentes, but without as much of a reach. He was actually banned for talking about race. For some reason, you're not allowed to talk about race, particularly race and IQ. You're going to see another person in here that talks something about race and IQ. Why is it we're not able to do statistical analysis based on race? You know, basically every single statistical analysis that comes to race, the IQs for the highest IQs in the world end up being the Jews and the Asians. So it's not even like he's trying to push a white person narrative. He's simply talking about facts, talking about statistical facts. You probably saw about what was it? Not the Nobel Prize, but the Nobel Prize equivalents in terms of science. Some guy actually had his award removed from him because he talked about IQ and race. And again, this guy, he's solid. He's on D Live. He does decent commentary. Um, I used to watch him before he was banned. I don't actively go out of my way to seek out his content now, but we should be able to talk about this stuff, guys. Especially if they talk about the science, the science, the science, the science. Science shouldn't involve emotional feelings of a particular person or a race or whatever. Just because you point out an average of a particular, and see, look, now I'm walking on razor thin margins. Just because you are talking about race in terms of a data set point doesn't mean you should be banned. It is absolutely disgusting. We should be able to look at nature nurture debate and actually have those tough conversations. We should be able to have tough conversations. Just because race is brought into a conversation doesn't mean that it should automatically be dismissed, because then those problems will forever be there. And then you can never figure out, is it actually nature or nurture that's the problem? What's going on in this community that's causing so much fatherlessness, that's causing so much crime? Why is it always this particular community? Why? Why can't we have that conversation? Blows my mind. It's not racist, guys. Robert Barnes, solid participant. Honestly, he could be as high as dominant competitor, but this guy's actually, as far as my intel that I have right now, is actually working with President Trump's campaign team about actually having Donald Trump win the election. So I'm putting him on solid competitor, solid participant right now. He could easily be a dominant competitor, but for some reason, this guy does not have the following that he deserves. This guy is a trial lawyer. He's a constitutional lawyer. He does an amazing podcast with Viva Fry. If you haven't checked it out, it's amazing. The information, he used to work for Bill Clinton. He was an insider with Bill Clinton, so the amount of knowledge this guy has in terms of actually being within the system itself is jaw-dropping. And he could easily be a dominant competitor, and if something happens in terms of this election that actually rescinds Joe Biden and puts Donald Trump in, and it's from the work of this man, that's what's going to happen. That is what's going to happen. Talk about changing a nation. Changing a nation. That is where he will be. But for now, solid participant till he gains a little bit more influence for some reason. See, that's the thing though. He's actually in there right now. See, I got to at least put him in here. He's actually in there doing the legwork right now to change the results of the election. Can you imagine the meltdown from the left? Who is this? Ryan Hall? Is this Ryan Hall? Oh my god, I can't remember. I can't believe I can't remember his name right now. Oh, it makes me so mad. Well, this is, you know what? Just hear me out, guys. Hear me out. Hear me out. Ryan Long. I knew I had it. Ryan Long. I was going to say Ryan Paul. It's Ryan Long. Ryan Long right now is a solid participant, and he is changing the culture war like I have never seen before. If you haven't seen the video of woke woke and racist. It is amazing. It shows the similarities between people that are woke and people that are racist. And this guy consistently puts out amazing comedic comedy content. I mean, Steven Crowder, he does stuff like that, but this guy, I mean, this guy's really funny. I mean, I'm not trying to bash on Crowder right now. Crowder's great, but this guy is hilarious. I mean, he just takes it to another level. And his ability to just make you laugh, man. Just laugh at the absurdity of the world, particularly of the left. Just what their rhetoric makes no sense. How is it the racist and the woke person can agree on literally everything? Amazing. Amazing stuff by this guy. Comedy genius, comedy gold, particularly in the politics. Honestly, if this guy keeps up the rate at what he's doing, he could very well be the next Bill Hicks. And that is some high praise. If this guy keeps doing this for another 10 years and he continuously continues to put out solid content, he could be the next Bill Hicks. Salty Cracker. Now, for those of you who haven't seen my top 10 conservative YouTubers, Salty Cracker was actually my number one. But despite being my number one, he is going to be put on the dominant competitor. And the reason why I'm putting on dominant competitor is I still think he has a long way to go. Very similar because of the rhetoric. He talks a great game. And one of the big problems I have with him, and this is, not really no fault of his own, but he's deathly afraid of flying. And when you're not able to fly in the United States of America, if you wanted to go to Washington D.C., you would have to drive across the entire country. And I think this guy, Salty Cracker, could very well be a legendary champion. Possibly top 5, maybe even top 3. He's amazing. His content is incendiary. It's comedic. The way that he presents himself is hilarious. His restream, he calls it a restream. And honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. I've stolen a lot of my thumbnails by Liberal Hive Mind. I've stolen a lot of the way that I do my own content from Salty Cracker. I mean, I love his content that much. I watch every single one of his podcasts. I watch nearly all of his videos. He's fantastic. But again, like I said before, I like influence. I like changes in the ballot box. I don't want to be like the conservative. I don't want to be part of the conservative hive mind, right? And I'm not saying that's what he is, but when you're not able to actually go out there, boots on ground, fly to the places that you need to go to, get the salty army, calls it the salty army, get the salty army to have a rally somewhere and actually show up in force and show the Democrats that we're not going anywhere. When you can't do that, it hurts you. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, it hurts you. So I really hope he gets over his fear of flying. I really do. I hope he gets over his fear of flying because he could be a game changer in politics, not just on the YouTube space, but like legit, like changing votes in the ballot box, changing legislation, calling out the BS that has become an absolute mind melt that is the left. Sargon of Akkad, Carl Benjamin, dominant competitor easily, and probably at the lead of all of these. His Daily Akkad podcast, the way he speaks, he's got the English accent. He's very, very clear in what he's saying. So I'm gonna take a drink here, guys. The way he breaks down information, just like Steve Turley, but with a little bit more comedy to it. He actually ran in a parliamentary election where he was with UKIP. UKIP had actually been in a decent spot from the years earlier from Nigel Farage helping that party grow to what it ended up being, as well as Count Dankula actually going out there, supporting Carl Benjamin, Sargon of Akkad to actually, be working within the government. I mean, I really do like Sargon quite a bit, and uh, his work that he did during Gamergate, um, and actually just changing the culture and saying like, hey, we don't want woke politics injected into our games. Hey, you know what would be cool is if you focused more on the story and a lot less about these underpinnings of wokeness that you are constantly pushing onto us. We don't care about this. We just want a good game. Imagine my shock. Soph, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to go with unpolished actor here. And the reason why is because this girl came out like a bat out. That's the thing, guys. She came out like a bat out of hell. She's done blackface. She's talked about the Jews. She's talked about guns. She's done posts saying, "Hey, coming to YouTube headquarters," and she's got a gun on her. I mean, this girl's crazy. She's just another level of crazy. And her just balls to the wall content is just, it's too, I hate to say this because I'm a free speech extremist and I personally love this content. I think it's amazing. But when you are trying to paint this broad, this type of message, not everyone's going, most, I would even say most people aren't going to like this type of content, unfortunately. And because she came in like a bat out of hell and like a fireball, like a wrecking ball, just smashing through everything, she got banned from literally everything. And because of that, she's actually with Gavin McInnes now on Band. I think it's Band.tv now. They had to change it. And yeah, she unfortunately she could have been, if I'm not saying you should censor yourself and you shouldn't. I believe she should be able to say whatever the hell she wants. But until we actually get our hands on a true platform that isn't going to ban people for incendiary content to the max, she's unfortunately an unpolished actor. Otherwise, she'd be a dominant competitor. Honestly, she in 10 years, if she never got banned, she could possibly be the number one on this list because of just how willing she is to stick her finger into that open wound. That flesh-eating wound that people keep putting band-aids over. She says, "You know what? Let me grab the poker, that hot poker, and I'm just going to sear it closed." She is just a bat out of hell, like I said before. Great content. Stefan Molyneux. Um, again, game changer. I would go with he's above pundit. He's a solid participant. Again, he is dominant in the way that he was able to take over the YouTube sphere for such a time. I believe he actually hit 1 million subscribers. And then just like Nick Fuentes, just like Red Elephants, just like possibly even Gavin McInnes, I can't, there's so many at this point. They cited a study that had to do with race and IQ. And because they talked about race and IQ, you know what happened? They were banned because of it. Screw that. He's a dominant competitor. You can find him on BitChute. His daughter now runs his new YouTube channel called Molyneux Resurrected. And there's actually a way very similar to Keemstar doesn't own his own YouTube channel. His friend runs his YouTube channel. His channel's back under Molyneux Resurrected, and he's a philosopher. And he speaks real truth. And I think he has some fantastic content. He's really good for the right. And yeah, check him out. Steve Bannon, guys, you got to go with legendary champion. Unfortunately, he was just recently banned on Twitter. He called Jack Dorsey a terrorist or something like that. He had his YouTube channel not banned, but his streaming was pulled in the middle of it right after he said that. And I mean, the guy, you have to put him. You have to put him up there because this is the man. Yeah, you know what? What this has become to me. was how much action and what have you done to help the movement? And what have you done to help the movement? This man's actions, Steve Bannon, made Donald Trump president of the United States. Whether you choose to believe it or not, whether the left chooses to believe it or not, this man who runs Breitbart and who runs War Room helped get Donald Trump into the presidency of the United States. And Donald Trump made a huge mistake by not keeping him inside of the White House and surrounding himself with those same deep swamp rats that he said he was going to kick out. And now you see in the last couple days, today is what, the 11th of November, now he's making the moves. Now he's kicking people out of positions of power that should have never been there. But it's too little too late, in my opinion. He should have never let go of Bannon. This guy is a legendary champion by all metrics, and deservedly so. Steven Crowder. Yeah. I mean, again, holds rallies, calls out Whitmer for what happened in terms of the pandemic, the Michigan governor. Goes out, does investigative journalism with a comedic tinge to it, but real reporting. Works with the FBI to find out stuff about Antifa. Has a show with some of the most listeners, I believe is the largest conservative podcast in America, if not the world. Extremely hilarious, able to win over normies because of his comedy. Very cutthroat and to the point. Throwing the neocon bus throwing the neocon bus under the bus. Throwing the neocons under the bus. Saying that his decision to vote for Romney and back Romney was one of the worst decisions of his life. Doesn't roll over whenever there's adversity. Mr. Ben Shapiro, hello. Does not roll over. And just, again, pushes the needle. Steven Crowder, Louder with Crowder, and the Mug Club did battle on YouTube and got demonetized because of Carlos Maza and Vox. Caused the Vox adpocalypse on YouTube. Cultural changes. Fought the man, fought YouTube and won. That's what he did. He got too big for them to destroy. Just like Joe Rogan and Spotify, he was simply too big because the backlash would be simply too big. That's the only way you can ever survive on these platforms. You get too big to be destroyed. Too large. Too much influence. Styx Hexenhammer, 666. Ladies and gentlemen, I love this guy. I don't know why. I listen to him every morning on my way to work. He drops like 3 just simple videos. He sits there like this. I'm more like this. He sits there like this, guys. Doesn't give a crap. Doesn't care. And honestly, maybe I should put him down a tinge. Yeah, this is probably more accurate. And the only reason why I put Styx down there, I love Styx. I think he's amazing. He's got some really good views. And honestly, his predictions have been spot on for the most part this last election cycle. We'll see what happens, guys. I still think Donald Trump's going to pull it out. Call me crazy. But, yeah, Styx, it's just, he needs to put a little bit more effort in terms of his channel. It's just kind of funny because it's been kind of like what it's been at this point. You know, him just basically showing up shirtless, showing up in a robe, just not giving a crap. Terrible audio quality. Terrible audio quality. This guy is easily, he's got to have at least 100,000 a year, right? In terms of donations, right? How can you have that crappy mic still? I mean, at least I have an excuse. I mean, geez, I'm living in a freaking trailer, guys. Come on. I'm not asking for subscriptions or anything like that, but that would be the first thing I would do. The first $1,000 to $2,000 I get on this channel, it's going straight back to the channel. All of it. All of it. New camera, new mic, new background, new everything. Increase the production quality. Come on, Styx. Again, solid content. Like I said, I listen to him every single day. So, He's got good content, but God, you gotta make better content. You need a better mic. The quartering, dominant competitor. This guy is a culture war warrior. And to be honest, I might even put him over Salty, even though I like Salty better. And the only reason why is because this guy changes the culture. People hate this guy specifically because of his views. They hate how much influence he had in terms of Gamergate. He's actually been banned outright by Hasbro and Magic the Gathering from going to Magic the Gathering tournaments. I mean, Jesus. This guy has a huge, massive influence in terms of the gaming sphere. Believe me, games would be a lot more woke if not for this man. If Jeremy Hambley was not alive, games would be 10 times more woke than they are today. This guy is the Berlin Wall defense to that BS. That's actually terrible. Wait, am I rooting for the commies, or am I rooting? Yeah, actually, no. Wait, no, it does make sense because he's America, and we're fighting back against the dirty commies. But come on, yeah, good content. Tim Pool, um, just because of his size and scope, guys, I think Tim Pool is a legendary champion. And he might not even be necessarily considered a conservative. He's moved pretty far right in terms of gun rights after all of the riots that have gone on across the United States. But his willingness to bring in any guest, bar none, makes him what he is today. Um, I there's a lot of things I dislike about Tim Pool. I think he's very adversarial, particularly with a lot of the people that are on his show. I think he should be a little bit more open-minded. He's very authoritarian in the way that he conducts himself a lot of the times, the way that he says that people are wrong. He says, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. No, but despite that, I listen to his videos every single day. He's very cutthroat. He's to the point. He is an aggregate in terms of information. He does have a slight left lean to him, but again, he is an absolute cornerstone to what is the conservative movement at this point. And the work that he does, him creating Scanner, which again seems to be very, very left leaning if you look at a couple of people that happen to be working in there, although they are currently in talks, I believe, to having Cassandra Fairbanks join the team. So we'll see exactly where that goes. It might end up having a right tinge and a left tinge, which I think we can all agree with. We want to see what's going on to the left side of the aisle and what's going on in terms of the right side of the aisle. So Tim Pool has got to be a legendary champion just simply in terms of his influence. Tom Fitton. Now, for some reason, I'm going to put this guy in dominant competitor. He could easily be legendary champion. The types of things that this man has done, and this is a big problem that I have with Q. I love Q, WWG1WGA for life, my brothers. I don't even know why I did the horns there, but this guy, because of his actions, have changed the landscape of America. His ability to go to court. I always do this. He's a legend, guys. He has to be. Because he's actually changing legislation. He's actually changing votes. He's actually digging up. Oh, man. Now that I think about it. I don't know if you guys know this, guys. But Mike Cernovich is the reason why the Jeffrey Epstein files were released. I think Tom Fitton is a little bit more does a little bit more legwork than Cernovich, though, so I'm going to keep him down here. But Tom Fitton, guys, Judicial Watch, all of their lawsuits, cleaning up dirty voter rolls, going out there, making sure that the law of the land is actually upheld, putting politicians' feet to the fire. I mean, this guy, you can't say enough good stuff about him. I mean, he's dominant, and he's actually doing the legwork necessary to make sure that the government is not talk. Tommy Robinson. Very similar to Soph, honestly, when I think about it. Unpolished actor. And these two could be put in the basket of deplorables. Tommy Robinson is a free speech extremist, and he should be able to talk about Islam in any which way he desires if he is not talking about attacking a person or set of persons. And the people that he surrounded himself with are very far right and could honestly be claimed are actual white supremacists. But do you blame him? Honestly, do you blame him if when your own government is going after you, putting you behind bars with the highest Muslim population in terms of prison population and sending him to that particular prison? You're basically trying to kill him. He actually, um, from a story that I listened to, he was able to speak from his jail cell to Julian Assange, who apparently was in the um, same prison with him for a time, either the jail cell over or below him, and he was able to actually talk to Julian Assange, which is a crazy story. Two political prisoners. I have a huge amount of respect for Tommy Robinson, and I think people on the right need to actually welcome him with open arms. Because what's ending up happening is people like Tommy Robinson, people like Nick Fuentes, people like Soph that go skew super far right, almost to the point of, uh, hitting points of like Nazis and stuff like that. They could be reined in to a more, now I sound like a leftist, a more inclusive Republican or conservative movement. And they would be far less radical if we would stop shunning these people. These people have real grievances. Tommy Robinson with the religion of Islam, Soph with the religion of Judaism, Nick Fuentes in terms of immigration and holding the culture in America. These people have real gripes that they should be able to voice. And we should stop turning our back to these people, because when you turn your back to these people, if you're on the right and you actually believe in free speech and you believe that people should be able to voice their ideas regardless of how radical or how crazy they are, I mean, look at how far the left has gone, and they move with impunity. We should be more welcoming and allowing these people into our movement so that we can rein them in and actually say, hey, you know what? You have legitimate, within the context of what you're saying, you have legitimate reasons to believe what you are believing. That it's not so far fetched and so crazy. But we are not going to be able to rein these people in from true, actually, like hitting the point of like true fascism and true authoritarianism unless we rein them back in and say, hey, you know what? Some of your gripes are legit, they're real. And what we're going to do is address them, you know? So, you know what? Tommy Robinson deserves a fair shake. I believe he was just arrested again for breaking quarantine or something like that. Some fascist government the UK has become absolutely disgusting. All while the exact same time, I believe there was like 1,000 protesters that were protesting outside of either an embassy or a government building. None of them were arrested, but yet Tommy Robinson was. It's disgusting. These people are political prisoners, just like Kyle Rittenhouse. Free Kyle. Free Kyle, you freaking bastards. Viva Fry. I'm gonna put him on solid participant for now. Um, Not a lot of people know about this guy, and for some reason he isn't getting the acumen that I think he actually believes. Like I said before, him and Robert Barnes, their podcast is probably one of the best podcasts in terms of just information and what's actually going on than any podcast I've ever listened to. I mean, they are always spot on. And Viva Fry, he is a lawyer who actually breaks down what's going on in terms of the law. And that really is, that's the finger on the pulse. That's your finger in the courts. I'm going to put them up here. Just pure bias. It's perfect that they should be right next to each other. Pure bias here, guys. This guy is amazing. Check him out, Viva Fry. I had him on my top 10. He was my number 10 on my top 10 conservative YouTubers. He's got amazing content in terms of actually going out there, seeing what's happening in terms of the lawsuits, seeing what's actually happening in terms of the courts, actually showing you the real documents and breaking it down from a lawyer's point of view that us normies can actually ingest and then share that information with the world. He's great. Zeducation. I'm actually not a huge Zeducation guys. I To be honest with you, I had to look him up, and he's actually quite large. So I felt like a need to actually put him on this list, but if I'm being honest with you guys, I don't have enough information to give you any judgment. I've watched a few of his clips. He seems solid. He seems decent. I can understand why people like him. Yeah, I mean, solid participant, and that's really the only reason why I have him here. I know the rest of these people for the most point. Wow, guys. Oh, I am going to be releasing this in probably a 3-part series because this was a 2-hour long video. Holy crap, if you made it to the very end, I feel like I've been ranting and raving. I hope you enjoyed this. Um, I wish if I had done this any different, I would have pulled up clips from each person and each um, influencer on this video, but if I did, this video would literally be 8 hours long. And yeah, maybe I'll do one of these every year. Once a year, I'll do a new tier list. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm going to break this down into 3 sections, and I'll make sure that each video links to the next one. I think I'll release the entire thing over the next 3 days. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. My name is Lucius Coal. Wow. What do you think of my tier list? What would you change? Who did I miss? Let me know in the comments below. My name is Lucius Coal of the of the Coal Factory. Man, I'm gonna be doing podcasts like this for 2 hours pretty soon. This is gonna be crazy. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 Patriots strong. Thanks to people like you watching content like this. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching videos like this. It means the world to me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Coltrane. Wait, peace. I'm so tired, guys. Peace, Coltrane. Choo choo. God damn, I'm tired.